嗨，各位，欢迎收看丢头穴，我是坤。今天的养片呢比较轻松一点啦，这是我在看 YouTube 的时候滑到的是关于 Jamie Carragher 上 来自Jamie 的频道里面辩论啊。相信有在关注足球的大家都知道 Jamie Carragher 这号人物哦，我就简单的介绍一下他好了。Jamie 的利物浦生涯拿下了不少荣誉哦，包含伊斯坦堡奇迹的欧冠、2次的欧洲超级杯，还有大大小小的国内杯赛。更重要的是，他是所谓的 One Club Man 哦，就是所谓的一生一队啊，所以说他的名宿身份在大家的眼中才更加的被尊敬哦。虽然说现在的 Jamie 在大家眼中更多的是电视台小丑啦，即使在防守的分析这一块根本无敌，但是跟太多球员发生了好笑的画面太多了，加上那个利物浦的超级偏心立场，可以说他真的是一个评价非常两面的斜咖。而这场辩论节目的规则大致上是 Jamie 要跟20队的球迷辩论他所丢出的 tag 啊，球迷们的手中都有黄牌，只要场上的辩论者有讲出他们不同意的 tag 就会举牌啊，凑齐10张黄牌 ，Jamie 跟场上的球迷就会领到红牌，然后被罚下场进行新的 tag 辩论。然后第一个主题就是欧冠跟英超的含金量辩论啊，我就直接被吸引住了。干，这个很明显就是 Jamie 在靠腰。各位要知道啊，虽然说刚刚提到了很多荣誉，但是 Jamie Carragher 生涯从来没有赢过英超啊，所以你已经可以预期到这个辩论的走向了。那这边我就不废话了，我们就直接进入今天的影片吧。
Here we go.
My first debate is that the Champions League is a much bigger competition to win than the Premier League.
3, 2, 1. We have started. Anybody want to rush up to the chair straight away? Wow, very civil to start with. I don't think it will stay like that. Henry, welcome.
Hello. Hi, Henry.
Just quickly, what do you mean by bigger? Do you mean in terms of stature, or do you mean in how hard it is to win?
Definitely stature and what it means to me. I think it's a much bigger thing to have on your CV.
Do you not think that... I think this year in the Premier League is a perfect example of why it's such an elite and hard competition to win. I'm of the opinion that it is head and shoulders above other divisions based on how hard it is week by week. Even last night we saw Leeds go to Manchester United and win. We're seeing a team that's been in the Champions League a number of years in the relegation zone at the moment. And really, if you look at the remaining teams in the Champions League right now, a lot of them have it pretty easy to get to that position. We even saw PSG have their games against Lens rearranged to give them a better opportunity to go further in the competition. Most of the guys in the quarterfinals at the moment are regulars. So in my opinion, it is fairly simple, not simple, that's the wrong word completely, to get to the last 8 for a big side. And then you've basically got a really tough knockout competition to go for. I agree with like the whole trophy presentation, the whole stature in the final.
It's not about the trophy presentation, I think it's a bit more than the trophy presentation.
No, as in there's some serious aura around really.
And you know,
that
you
trophy.
talk about the Premier League. So you talk about the Premier League, and Leeds last night beat Manchester United, team at the bottom beat the team at the top. We've seen Wolves against Arsenal a few months ago. Do you think that makes a good Premier League?
Yeah, I think it makes it really good. I think.
So why is everyone complaining about the quality this season?
People are complaining about the quality. I think people are getting quite lost in the whole tactical nature of the league. I think people underestimate
people.
I think people underestimate how hard it is to get through each of these games. Like to put together a tactical system to beat each team in the Premier League, given the amount of managers and the quality of managers in there right now. Like I was at the Emirates the weekend. I watched Andoni outdo Arteta, and that shouldn't technically be right when we look at the money and the resources going into it. There are so many bright tactical brains, and people put so much emphasis on playing good football, when at the moment, really, half the time fans are putting emphasis on winning matches. And this is why...
Sorry for interrupting. I agree. I think the Premier League, when you think of some of the games and what the managers have to put into each game, and the information you have to give players now, how tactically, it's a lot more advanced. It's better than when I played. The information when I played was from almost a defensive point of view, how you were organised. An attacking point of view was almost get the ball to Steven Gerrard or Michael Owen. That's not the game now. The game is sort of, we analysed on Monday Night Football, Mikel Arteta trying to play out from the back. They'd have been working on that for days. Who gets the ball? Who makes a movement? That didn't happen when I played. So it's so much more advanced now. But the thing I want to get back to with the Champions League and the Premier League is, this is something that came up when we were covering the Champions League. I don't think our teams get put under enough pressure when they go out the Champions League. We don't criticise them. I'm not saying hammer them, but it's almost like, they went out the Champions League. Oh, next year we'll have another go at it. It's a cup competition, and I get that. But it's looked at completely differently in sort of Spain, where Real Madrid and Barcelona go for the league. It's always one or the other. Now and again, Atletico Madrid. It's not the end of the world if one of them don't win the league. But there's so much emphasis on the Champions League that this is like the trophy. And I when I look at, obviously, my own club have done really well in that competition, but when you think of Arsenal never winning it, Manchester United only winning it 3, when you're talking about one of the biggest clubs in the world, put themselves up alongside Real Madrid.
Yeah.
There should be more on, for me, the Champions League. We should put more emphasis on the Champions League. We should be more on top of our teams and want more from them in the Champions League rather than just accepting that they go out and we'll go again next year.
Do you not think that's a issue of the growing monopolies in these divisions where you've got PSG winning it every year, where you've got Real Madrid, Atletico, Barcelona consistently competing at the top, and it's kind of degraded the overall competitiveness and willingness of people to sit down and watch these divisions, whereas the Premier League, you just have to look at the numbers when it comes to the TV renewals and the money going into it. It is such a global competition that winning that at this point is the pinnacle of football. For me, if you win the Premier League, if you're the best player in the Premier League, you're the best player in the world. I really don't understand why that's not given more emphasis. I think winning the Premier League is such a hard thing to do with the quality of teams running it, even the way the calendar falls and the amount of matches that fall over certain periods in the winter here. I think to come out of that bruising scenario as the top dog compared to the Champions League, where I think you can kind of ride on the aura that you're talking about when you go into these big European nights, I think you can just sort of muddle your way, even particularly now with the wider group stage, you can muddle your way to the latter ends of the competition and then really go for it. To come through that bruising process in the Premier League and be the top dog, I think that undisputedly makes it.
I agree with you, as in, I think we should be very, what's the word I'm looking for? We should be almost grateful that our league's still competitive. You're spot on all the other leagues not being competitive. But I don't think that automatically then makes the Champions League far bigger than it's been in the past. I do think, I agree with you that, for PSG, it's so easy to win the domestic league. So there is maybe a little bit more.
The league helps them as well.
But before the Champions League came in, and maybe I'm a bit older than everybody in this room, but the Italian team everybody knew was AC Milan. Not because they were winning Serie A, because they were winning the European Cup. Not the Champions League, the European Cup. That's why I remember Baresi. That's why I remember Maldini. I don't remember the famous Juventus teams because they never won the European Cup, but they were the most successful team in Italy. When you win the Champions League, it goes obviously around Europe and around the world.
The only reason I look is there's a Juve fan behind you.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're the most successful club in Italy. But anybody in England,
it's
Juventus, it's AC Milan.
Very, very interesting. If you're happy to concede there, Henry, anybody want to jump in?
I'm not happy to concede.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. We can agree
one thing I will ask you though, Jimmy, as well, from a player's perspective, where is it? Do you think a player cares more about the Champions League? Do you think a player cares more than the Premier League?
100%. It's certainly with foreign players. With foreign players, I think when you speak to them and listen to them, I do think, because I have this debate on Sky, and everybody disagrees with me. So Roy, Gary, Michael Richards, I know those are guys who've, well, certainly the Manchester lads, they've won the Champions League. And listen, I'd love to have won the league. And I'm not saying this because I didn't win it. But when you think of every great English team in history, going back before the Champions League, the Holy Grail was the European Cup of the past. Let's go back to 1968. What was the most famous thing that happened in football in 1968?
United won the European Cup.
League. Exactly. It was Man City.
Wow, okay.
No one remembers Man City winning the league in 1968. Manchester United win the European Cup in 1968. Is that enough for you?
Take it, Henry. Take it, Rod.
OK， 经过以上的片段，不知道各位怎么看啊？我自己是认为两方都有值得采纳的点啊，不管是 Henry 的新颖论点，还是 Jamie 的贵股论点，都是可以理解的。各位也可以在影片下方告诉我你们的看法。那今天的影片差不多到这里了，再见。